Hello everybody, welcome to my new video. This time I'm gonna show you how I beat Bahamut AX3. But before that, I would like to ask you if you would please leave a sub. I know, it's annoying, I'm sorry, but it is really helpful, and if I don't remind you at the beginning of the fight, most likely you're gonna forget to do that. So it's really supportive, it keeps me motivated to doing this kind of content, so please leave it. Thank you. And after that, I also would like to ask you what do you think if I maybe make a video about know-how of this game? So some sort of guide for any kind of level, really, regard maybe some mechanics, or how do you build a team, how do you beat that content, how the hell you have a way less powerful account than mine and you still beat all the content. So it's not that I have a better account or a lower account, it's literally just the way at least I solved the puzzle of the fight. So I was most thinking about making a guide, a generic guide for the game. So how to build a team, how do I understand what kind of build do I need in order to clear a content. So if you think that's a great idea, or if you would like to see a content like this, please leave a comment regarding this video. So I don't know, just write something like make the video or video up or something like that. And if I see there are some positive comment about it, I might do that. So let's take a look now at very fast about the team, and yes, we will jump immediately to the fight, and then I will explain phase by phase so that you can also not just build this team, but you can try to beat Bahamut X3 also with different team, as long as you fit on the requirement. So see you later. Alright, so let's have an overview about this team, character by character, and then we can start also seeing other possibility, other team, and what do you really need to beat Bahamut X3. So Ariet, in our situation right here, she was our buffer, the buffer, so magic attack up and magic defense down to Bahamut. This weapon is really great. And also Bahamut Road. In this case, yes, the ATB plus is always great and whatever, but I was really in need of this, most likely because of this potence defense up. Sometimes I was making my tries and Barret was running out of potence defense and doing the single strike attack to him. So yes, I was really this was happening quite often, so I decided to rebuild my team in a different way, because before that I was also trying to use her umbrella as main to pump up the wall magic defense, which is really great. I suggest you also you have very good 4 ATB single heal, 100% heal, so it's not bad, and you need less magic defense on the wall team. But Bahamut Road give you the more magic attack, 1 ATB, and the potence defense, at least the extension +4, which in this case was great, or sometimes it maybe just give you the 2 points, and then with Barret you just do +1. It can give you different situation, but yeah, in this case I had to pump up quite a huge magic defense. I have this cure with 22 magic defense, it's god, and also this is quite good, gives me a little bit of heal, a lot of HP and magic defense, so you never really use it, but really good stats. And yes, that's more or less the cap that I needed to do with Arid. And yeah, the ultimate weapon, it's most likely used for the sigil phase. So if you don't have this ultimate weapon, the only way to run against the sigil phase of this fight then would be a sigil weapon. But if you cannot make it happen with a sigil weapon, then Yuffie, I bet, is the other option as an ultimate weapon, because you need some ATB plus if you don't run a sigil weapon. I don't think with like haste, maybe haste on 2 character and full ATB, you can beat 15 sigil. Yes, maybe you might also try with stop and full ATB, also that might work with Sid if there is a setup with Sid. I honestly didn't see one yet, but probably just because we don't have many copies of his weapon, because otherwise I think you might build a team with him. Anyway, let's go to Cloud. You can probably even run different Cloud, but in this case it's the only magic release with costume, so far as I know, at least with Cloud. And yes, so the wind one, and which I only put it like in wishlist regularly, and it just pop up OB10 like nothing, which actually is great considering the real battle that is gonna happen soon. And yes, he's actually very good for the damage, but we are using him for the magic defense 3, which I do not extremely recommend it for just a couple of reasons. You lose a bit of DPS. Even in the beginning of the fight, you are just using 3 times magic defense here, or even in the middle of the fight, when he's doing the AoE attack and then the single attack on Barret, you're most likely buffing up unless you can avoid to get that much damage. But yes, having your DPS with the magic defense, it is not the best, but it works. Materials are of course concentrated in magic attack, HP and magic defense, as much as I could at least. But yes, they are very great. And oh yes, there are abilities points. This made me very angry, but it's okay. Yes, just try to pump up as much power as possible. And yes, magic defense, HP, as more as you can. I forgot to show about Arid, as always, she's always there. Yes. And now Barret, which is the star of the week and the star of this fight. So we are running this costume here. The purple one, I think it's even better. I don't know. I wasn't in the game when they released it, I think. But I think if you have it, it's kinda better. Then we are also using this limit break with Barret, the same as Cloud, so like a very short one. We were mostly doing this to try to buy sometimes, okay, to interrupt sometimes, just to gain some extra ATB, but we'll explain that in the next phase where there is a fight explanation. So this new weapon is just amazing. I love it. Not only give you potence defense 3, but also the veil and the provoke. I am so sure this weapon will be so much useful even after this fight. Very famous last words. But this is God. Like, this is, to me, probably the best ultimate weapon released in the game so far. Like, it's literally God. You get 50% half damage. Like, what the and 2 times during the fight. It's really, really great. To be honest, you should not pass on this one. I know there is the half anniversary right now, but guys, this ultimate weapon to me will be so much useful in so many other fights. So, or hypothetically, of course, we don't know what they will release, but we passed a lot of fights where we could not pass through the phase because we didn't fill up the stats of resistance or whatever. And this one, it's not just giving him to himself like the costume, but this is all allies, so is just best, honestly, than any other buff I saw before for the whole party, of course. Then we run in, of course, with a huge potence defense for the single hit attack, and we do run with magic defense a little bit lower than the others because we have the vial from here and we have more HP. So very important that we're using him because of provoke. Yes, this ultimate weapon, but yes, you can also do this without. These are the stats, so quite tanky. And now let's also talk about hypothetically other builds or how to build a team for this fight. Sorry guys, I forgot to show you the materia of Barret, so I was too lazy to remake the whole video, so I'm just gonna show you right now. Alright, so how do I build a team for Bahamut? So there are some very important requirements, at least for the beginning. So at the beginning of the fight is making a check already. So it's debuffing you, he's buffing himself. So you need in any way somebody that is minimum magic defense 3, because you just have like 15 ATB time to charge at the beginning, and you don't have time if you have a magic defense up 2. I already tried with Mithril Road of Ariet, it doesn't work very well. You end up having magic defense +1, and I don't think you're gonna pass the first phase. Then you also, so in this case we solved the problem with bandaged sword. Sorry, I really don't know how to read it. Bandaged sword. Anyway, the sanctuary. Then you need something for the magic attack down. So in this case we used the solid bazooka of Barret, but for example you could have run any other character that has magic attack down. So these are already 2 requirements, very important and mandatory, which without this you don't go anywhere. Now, the third problem is he's debuffing you physical attack down and magic attack down. Now, in this case we have a magic team, so we were very comfortable with Crimson stuff. So we buff our magic attack and at the same time we debuff him magic down, so it's like perfect. But if you're running a physic team, then what else could you do? You could, for example, if you do have Kamura, well, just run Kamura, of course. And at the same time you solve the problem of the magic defense up. But if you don't have it, I didn't saw any yet, but I would be really curious. You can try, for example, Met with Bramble Spine, I believe, and maybe Centipede for the physic defense up, or if you have a good obi, the defending jump. That's just hypothetically, because honestly I didn't saw any build around this yet. But at the same time, you could, for example, instead try another combination with angle, and he's I call it Kamura, but Sword Integrity, because it's giving you physic potence up, and at the same time you solve the problem of the physic defense up for the single attack. So yes, this is just an example. The point is, you need to solve these problems, which are the damage, so the physic down or the magic attack down, so these two, and this will change completely, of course, the kind of character that you're gonna run into, and then the check-in at the beginning, which is the magic attack down and the magic defense up. You need, of course, as I mentioned it already, the physic defense up because of the single hit target. I think I saw a build like this, somebody linked it to me, with angle instead of Barret, which is just explaining that you can still survive as long, even without this ultimate weapon and Barret, but you need a provoke, because if I got it right, Bahamut is actually taking as a single target the lower HP. So if you do not have a provoker, so Barret in this case, or Glenn also has provoker since some days ago, some weeks ago, at angle, you better try to build the guy that has the lower HP, also the higher physic defense, which it's gonna be very challenging, because I don't know if it's even possible right now to make a build like that, because also you will need magic defense up, and at the same time that character needs to do something, which means healing or buffing, so it's gonna be pretty hard. Another option actually that I was talking today with a game friend of mine is to run red. If you do not have, for example, the ultimate weapon of Yuffie or of Ariet, or you cannot make them work because you miss some other gear, was actually running yes, him with this one and this one. So this one, because you have the sigil, 3 ATB sigil, it's great. You have heal and you can make cure all spell, and this is great, heal and buff, the buff extension. And if you have him with this costume also, it's kinda great. You would have to run then the slick collar and not the pilot, because of the high to high. You need 3, otherwise you won't pass the first phase of the fight. And still at the same time, magic defense as our ability is great. I didn't saw any build yet made with him, but I bet it's possible to make it work, because at the same time it leaves so much space here to build anything else around it. So you can literally, for example, in this case, I do believe that Angle and him and, I don't know, theoretically Cloud or something else would still work very well. But yeah, these are just options that I didn't saw yet some clear. Most of the clear that I saw are more or less my build. Then you have a Yuffie instead of Cloud, or maybe you have a Tifa instead of Cloud, and then Barret instead is running the magic defense up, or the Arit is running with Kamura. So it's just swapping weapon by weapon, but the point is you need to solve this problematic, and you can just swap between one character to another, or another one weapon to another, as long as you make all this little piece of the puzzle fit. You can make a team and you can beat. Then of course you need the DPS, that's obvious, but I don't think the DPS check is that huge in this fight. But yes, really depends. If you already have a low DPS and then your DPS needs to also buff the buff, that might be a problem. But I think the best option in this case, if you have to assign your character that is a DPS with one of these mechanic function, I would say that the magic attack down is the best option for it. So yes, I think that's all for the team. So now I can pass through phase by phase for the fight. Alright guys, so the fight starts with Flare Aura, which is giving us -5 magic defense and is buffing Bahamut +5 magic attack. So you better buff up yourself for the magic and you better debuff him with the magic attack down. Now the best of would be also to do not have your DPS doing anything at all, so you can use this time just to free damage. Yes, Cloud in this case is doing the magic attack up, and we're also using a bit of Aret ability just to prepare ourselves to give him some damage with some buff on us and debuff on him. Also because after the Mega Flare I'm using a couple of heal with Ariet and nothing. After the Mega Flare now you will see it's gonna be another AoE magic damage, and Bahamut is gonna reduce us 5 points of attack, physic attack, and 5 points of magic attack. So it is good to have already at least a +3 of your designated attack. So if it's physic 3, +3 physic, and if it's magic, +3 magic. So as you can see right now we have -5 of physic. You cannot see that here now, but we have a okay, -2 magic because we had +3 before, so it doesn't get -5 -5. And now this bar phase, what is very important to know, you can play a little bit with the limit break, and I think I will do it when it's gonna say 4. What does it mean? It means that to make this animation it takes quite a time, and if you do that like 1 second after you read the countdown name over here and you do the limit break, then Bahamut will have to repeat the animation, which is good because you're buying yourself ATB, which are buying yourself time, which is buying yourself damage, which is buying yourself other limit breaks. So it is very good if you play a little bit around this. You can either try to do like 1 time with Barret, then 1 time with Cloud, and so on. But in my team in this case the damage was quite enough, so I didn't have to buy time so much, and I rather prefer to do the 2 limit break together. And yes, considering in this phase you also need to heal up a bit, and you need to prepare yourself for the sigil phase. So as you can see here now, I just interrupted his countdown in 4, and you will see now that he will have to repeat the animation, and meanwhile our ATB are getting just upper. Again. So what do we also need to be prepared now? It's that Bahamut is gonna put somebody into sleep, so we would like to get Barret as targeted, not the lower HP, which in this case would be Ariet. And it's a magic attack, this sleeping ability, so it is good to debuff him. At least for me it was really mandatory, and I had to go in defense stance. As you can see, it's literally under the veil, so since the veil is still up I don't get sleep. If the veil break I get a bit of damage, and I also get the effect of sleeping. These things of the veil count with every ability, not just the sleep, it's also for physic defense down or any other debuff. As long as the veil is covering the damage, you don't get the debuff on that. So now we have the sigil phase, and in this case I wanted all character to be full of ATB, which allowed me not only to destroy the sigil phase, of course, but also to land, at least with Ariet, a Crimson ability to refresh the buff and debuff, and with Cloud to land a damage. So, and after that we can just go free with 3 ATB, 3 ATB, 3 ATB. Ariet Limit Break is giving us really the chance to break the sigil more or less at the last seconds. It's not a big rush, but save the ATB when you see the counting down. It's when you destroy the bar, I mean. So yes, let's skip to the next phase. So after the sigil phase, we're gonna have our first dive bomb. You don't need to get too much scary, it's not gonna hit too much, it's the first one. Just be sure to have refreshed provoke, otherwise it will target it again the lower HP. And yes, he is also making a couple of single attack here, which yes, I recommend you to tank it a bit, so that you're right prepared for the dive bomb phase. As you can see, it doesn't hit so hard. Now we do let this countdown going on, we just land some damage, we don't care about taking it out in time. You can try to do that, in that case you will end in a different phase than mine, so you will start doing other ability before actually doing the Mega Flare, but in my case I on purpose wanted to go to the Mega Flare phase. It's just a matter of, yes, I had enough DPS, I could kill him, and why not? So we are after the Mega Flare here. This is exactly the phase and the reason why I did choose Healing Wind with Ariet. It's a phase where you're gonna get some magical AoE and single attack, and I really needed the HP to be full. So what do you need to know about this phase? He's now going to do this Flame Breath, which is gonna remove the magic defense up by 2 points, and is gonna make some AoE magic damage. So you wanna do this up, and you want also to keep the magic attack down. So here I didn't do the right timing, so I was using this limit break to buy myself a bit of time. But yes, the best would have been things that I didn't do would have been that in this exact moment I should have also refreshed the magic defense up, which I did very late and slowly. And yes, at least we managed to magic attack down. So yes, after this single attack, then he's gonna do another AoE magic attack, and then we start again with another countdown of the Mega Flare. So see you after that phase. So here we are after the countdown. Now the games start getting more hard, so he's going to hit very hard, but so we want to prepare in this phase. The best would be, of course, if you can, to reduce his physical attack here already as more as you can, and having Barret with the physical defense up and the vial. Now I did forgot here to give him at least 1 point of physical attack down. This is quite important because now Bahamut is gonna buff himself up, and of quite a lot, like I think it's 5 times of physic up. So you can have one character spamming the Brave, but yes, in our case we have Cloud ultimate weapon, which was saving us the day. And yes, we do one the Brave only and Cloud ultimate weapon, and yes, GG. Also consider that this AoE attack that Bahamut is doing, Tail Flame, is removing the physical defense up. So if you have enough physical defense up on the stats of Barret and also some physic attack down to him with a vial, you can resist it, and as it was working for the sleep, the same works here. He doesn't get the debuff, so you can arrive more prepared than this. Now I did had to use Barret ultimate weapon, but if I was full HP I would have survived even without. So I did took 9k and I do have only 2 physic defense. It would have been 18k, and full life I would have survived. And even though if maybe he had a physic attack down, or he had a physic defense up 3, it would have been even less. Without the ultimate you can survive this. So I'm gonna go now directly to the end of this Mega Flare countdown, because I'm gonna explain you there what did I do. So what did I do different here? It's simple that I used Barret ultimate weapon again because I wasn't able to survive, and most likely I wanted Barret to have it's huge, this Kameha. I wanted Barret to have provoke after this. Why so? Because he's going to sleep a character after this Mega Flare, and if we don't have provoke, he's gonna target Ariat, so which is our lower HP. So we wanted to use provoke before the end of Mega Flare, which give us not the chance to full reduce this, unless of course you have a character like, I don't know, Ariat with Defate, so she can Defate twice and then you can anyway magic attack down 3. And yes, basically this was the reason. So we're going to survive, we're gonna take all the very less hit damage, but most important it's that after this Mega Flare I'm gonna use the limit break, and yes, Umbral Gaze hit 0, and we have Barret that is not going to sleep. Otherwise Barret would have been sleeping and most likely you would have wiped. Yes, this is basically what was left to say. Now he's gonna do some physical attack, which you just need to survive, and after that physical attack it is basically super easy. It's start counting until the Mega Flare. In this meanwhile you can interrupt him. It's basically and shortly 3 minutes of free DPS before the end of the fight. Really 3 minutes of clock, so you have quite a window to do whatever you want here, and with these interrupt techniques you can buy yourself even more time if your DPS is lacking here. So it's good also to have short limit break for this part here, because you can buy quite a lot of time, because this limit break charge very fast. So yes, I think that was all about the most important phases of the fight. So I do hope that this video helped you out, guys, and yes, if you really want me to do any know-how video, please write in the comment, or if you have even any other suggestion about the next video that is not just a content clear, please let me know in the comment and I will try to reply and see what I can do. So consider I am not a gamer as professional, so I don't have so much time, but since it also happened that I do have many DM during the week regards how did you do that, how did you do that, how did you do that, maybe I thought it could be useful just to share some secrets of I don't know, ATB management or stuff like that, that yeah, maybe could help out some one of you to see better into the game. So please let me know in the comment, and yes, thank you for staying tuned till here with me, and see you in the next one.